All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out some red Sanji action. That's right, some PRB01 Sanji action in today's video. I have not covered this leader in a while. I will link my previous video on the leader down in the comment section below. And I think everyone's still trying to figure this leader out, like trying to figure out what the best list is for the leader. Not that there's ever really going to be a perfect list for any leader. You know, there's always like room for meta choices and, you know, preferences and things like that. But I don't think we're even close to finding what the best, you know, the best combination is for this leader. We'll have to see. But I'm going to share my version with you guys today of basically film plus straw hat hybrid. And I was featuring this on my last video, but we're going to talk more about it in today's video because I think it's decent. I actually think it's one of the better lists out there, and I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you have a better list, by all means, tell us about it. So let's go ahead and dive into this video. We got quite a bit to talk about, and let me tell you what we're getting into first. First things first, we're going to be heading over to the VV Lab. It is going to be a red-purple Luffy game versus Lucci, Black Lucci. Okay, then we're going to head over to discuss the topic of the day, which is bans and restrictions. Then we're going to head over to the sim. We've got 5 games of red Sanji to go over. These were fast, fun games, guys. Hey, if you like fast aggro decks, you might want to check this leader out. This is a very, very fun deck to play, especially just to blow off some steam on the sim. Just try to run people over, or okay, hey, either win fast or lose fast seems good to me, right? Just especially if you need a palette cleanser, if you need to take a break from the mid-range and control decks you might be running. Okay, then we'll wrap it up with the deck list and final thoughts. We'll wrap it up in that way, guys. I'll tell you what I think about it and moving forward. Okay, as usual, guys, I'll have everything time-stamped down in the general description. I'll have all relevant deck lists and links down in the comment section, guys. And yeah, if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please don't be afraid to share those in the comment section as well. Now, let's get into this. Let's do this, guys. Move the leader here. So first things first, we got to head over to the lab. For any of the new listeners out there, any kind of new players or new listeners out there listening, first of all, welcome to the channel. And second, what are we doing? What is the VV Lab? So what we're about to look at is a community-submitted game. So not me playing, but some random player in the community who wanted to share their game, and they wanted me to review it on, you know, in a video. If you're interested, oh, and real quick, it works as like a miniature free coaching session, okay? So if you're interested in me reviewing one of your games, easy peasy. It's a 3-step process. First, you have to record your game, right? Then you have to upload it to YouTube. And then finally, you have to hop on the VV Theory Discord. The link is in the channel description. Hop on the VV Theory Discord, and I have a channel called Review My Game. Post the link in there to the YouTube video, and as soon as I see it, I give it a thumbs up, and you get thrown in line, and whenever it's your turn, okay? All right, so if you have any questions on that, if you're a newer player and you have questions on that, please do not hesitate to ask down in the comment section below. All right, let's do this, guys. Let's get into it. Red Purple Luffy versus Lucci. The volume is off. Let me make sure the speed is on 2x. The quality is as high as it will go, and let's go. Here we go, guys. Let's do it. All right. So first things first, hang on. Let's see who decided to go first. That would be very important. I try to always say that whenever I can, guys, whenever I know. It looks like the Red Purple Luffy player won the dice roll, and they chose to go first. Okay, so on turn 1, going first, they did not have a Nami turn 1 play. Not the end of the world. It looks like they will have a turn 2 Zoro play. Turn 1 for the Rob Lucci, and they did get a Spandam, so very nice. And it looks like they searched up a Rob Lucci. Okay. So here we go. Now remember, guys, Red Purple Luffy only has 3 life, but he has 6,000 power. So he's going to swing for 6 and a 5, and they're going to aggressively take that. The Lucci player is going to aggressively take that this early on. Interesting. Let me tell you right now, guys, Red Purple Luffy starts swinging very large. Okay, so the Lucci, their turn 2, they're going to play out a Kuzan to draw a card, swing for 5. It's going to bounce because it's a 6,000 power leader, and here we go. This is what I was just talking about, guys. So not counting out of the 6K attack, now they have to end up counting out of a 7K attack because there is a possibility. I mean, I don't know if he's going to do this or not, but there's a possibility that instead of playing out the other Zoro that the Red Purple Luffy player has in hand, they might just play out, or excuse me, they might just swing for 9. But we'll have to see how this goes here. So swing for 7. There's no way I'd risk this as the the Lucci player. Okay. Let's see what happens though. Swing for 7. And like I said, now the red purple Luffy player will be able to follow up with a 6K attack and just play out the Zoro Juro. The other one, actually, I wonder. Hang on, there's a and they took it, guys. That is crazy that they took that. So hang on a second. Another thing we have to consider is we just saw that they have a Lucci. So this red-purple Luffy player might be saying, yeah, I'm not going to play out another 3-cost character. They're going to pop it for free. You literally can just swing for 5 with your leader, swing for 5 with the Kuzan. Excuse me, they'd be on 6 Dawn next turn, so they could literally swing for 6 with Kuzan, -4 one of the Zoros, swing 6 with the leader, -1 the other Zoro, and then play out the Rob Lucci and pop both. So they're loading up for 9. I actually really like this. This is beautiful. Guys, this is playing based on the information that your opponent has given you. It's like, oh, wait a minute. So I know you have a Zoro, so you're going to pop my board easily next turn with what you have on the board alone. And on top of that, you're taking these hits. You just took a 6K, then you took a 7K. Well, now you're going to take a 9K. Let's see you counter out of it. If he counters out of this, you know, then that just goes to show you guys, being greedy is very scary, man. He's probably not, guys. I'm not. Whew. Okay. All right, here we go, man. This Lucci is playing with fire. This Lucci is playing with fire here. Okay, swing for 6. What just happened? How did we get rid of the what? Oh, how did the Zoro go? Oh, Who's Who trigger popped the Zoro, guys. I didn't even see that. Okay, so Who's Who pops the Zoro, and now it's their turn. They play out Rebecca. They get back a Sabo. They're going to swing for 6, and it's going to be, you know, red purple Luffy's turn. Or they. Okay, so not swinging there just seems insane to me, guys. We have, what, 4... I think the Lucci player has like 9 or 10 cards in hand. I'm not going to just count it out. It's at least 9 cards, and it's probably 10. And it's like, why wouldn't you swing with your Kuzan here? You're at 2 life. Are you scared they're going to attack into your Kuzan? I'm perplexed right now, guys. I'm really at a loss for words. We'll have to see what happens. Okay, so they're going to play out a, it looks like a dragon. Yeah, that or a, I kind of like Newgate, but hey, I mean, if the pressure's on, right? We're going to swing for 8 and then maybe 9, sit on a Rad Beam. I like that. I think they're probably going to leave 1 Dawn active and just sit on the Rad Beam. So swing 8, they block it, swing 9. Down to 1 life. They're taking these 9K hits now. Guys, I will say this. If you're playing against Red Purple Luffy, that early 6K attack they do, I would probably counter out of that. I would probably like definitely counter out of the early 6K attacks, because for the rest of the game, as they have more Dawn and they play these bigger characters, you're going to wish you countered out of the early 6K attacks. Okay, swing for 6 here. Diable Jambe. Okay. Okie dokie. They're going to go ahead. They're probably going to be able to pop the dragon. Guys, Lucci can pop any character he wants. Just at all times, pretty much, can always do it. Yeah, play out the 7 cost. Jack here, pop the 3 cost. Dragon, because -4 from the Kuzan, -1 from the leader. That's -5. 8 -5 is 3. Jack pops a 3 or less. They're cycling out the cards from their hand, too. Let's see what happens here. They're going to play out the Onami. Okay. And, guys, this is outrageous. Are they about to load up for 5? Swing 11. 0 life. Now, that is a lot of cards in hand. They're at 13 cards in hand right now, guys. They're at 13 cards in hand in the Lucci player's hand. Sabo, draw 2, trash 2, getting rid of nothing but dead cards right now. Play out this one, trash the Kuzan. Or was that from the last one? Hang on, we'll see. Trash the Kaido, trash another Kuzan. So they're trying to fix their hand. But will it be enough? Guys, I'm going to be honest. If I'm the, yeah, what on earth? I guess this guy's just trying to pop the Onami. They didn't even have to swing in with the Kuzan. I guess it's fine. Because they could have swung with their leader, filled up their trash. Okay, another cycle card. They trash an event. And guys, did they get enough 2K Oh, man. Okay, swing for 15. 5, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 15. Oh, man. If they counter out, it's game over, right? They didn't have it. Guys, that's crazy. Even after going through a cycle with the Jack and double 2-card cycles with the Sabo, they were not able to get out of that 15K attack. I'm sorry. I don't know what their hand was. Now, if they just had a bricked hand earlier in the game, okay, it is what it is. But, man, not countering out of the 6K attack and then not countering out of the 7K attack and then not even countering out of one of the 7 or 8K attacks. It's just crazy, guys. You have to counter out of something or you get hit with a 15 like this. You know, that was outrageous. Really cool game. One thing I do want to draw attention to that I'm just a little confused about is right here. So watch this turn. So swing for 6, and then they count out with a 1K, and then they're not going to swing for 6 with their Kuzan. I guess it wouldn't have mattered in the end, but it could have, actually, because watch this, guys. So watch, they don't swing. They pass the turn back, so we're going to go up to 9 Dawn with Luffy. Now watch this. Now say we had swung with the Kuzan, okay, and they give us like the 1K counter Brûlée or something. Who cares? Let's just pretend that happened, okay? Now what? If we swing in, if the red-purple Luffy player swings into the Kuzan right now, okay, thank you, right? Because now I don't have to counter out, because this is going to be an 8K attack. And then if he doesn't swing into the Kuzan, okay, whatever, that's what he did anyway, right? He swung face as aggressively as he could anyway. So I think not swinging here was a little bit of a mistake, but it probably wasn't the biggest mistake. I don't think it actually mattered in the end, because the red-purple Luffy still had like 2 life. I don't think they could have snuck lethal, especially with the Rad Beam in hand. But yeah, that was the one little minor problem I had with something the Lucci player did, where it's like, I don't know why you wouldn't why wouldn't you swing this turn. Other than that, though, pretty decent game, but way too greedy early on, not countering out of attacks. Then one more thing I want to say is, hey, if you're a red-purple Luffy player and you struggle into the Lucci matchup, I'm not saying that every Lucci player is just going to aggressively take life like this guy did, but this might be a good way to get around it. You might want to actually just, all right, we're just going all in. We're just going all in. Because, guys, they can literally remove every character you play every single turn. So just go aggressive, go fast. Makes sense. Very cool. That was a good game. That was a fun one. All right, let me get set up real quick, guys. Y'all give me just a moment here to get all set up. Because now we got to talk about the topic of the day. Now we got to talk about the topic of the day. We are going to be talking about bans and restrictions. Okay. Camera adjustment time. I know it's everybody's favorite time. So, here we go, guys. Bans and restrictions. Bans and restrictions is the topic of the day. So what is that, first of all? For the newer players out there, well, what is banned and restricted? What's the difference? So real quick, I'm just going to read this part pretty much right here. Okay, for the One Piece card game, a deck may contain up to 4 copies. Can you guys read that? Okay, yeah, I think you can. For the One Piece card game, a deck may contain up to 4 copies of a single card with the same card number. But for matches in the official or certified tournaments, it may be necessary for some cards to be made banned or restricted, okay? There are 2 groups when this happens: banned cards and restricted cards. When a card is a banned card, it is not permitted at all in deck use, okay? While a restricted card means only one of that card is permitted in the deck. Okay, so that's good to know. Now, real quick, there are currently no restricted cards in the game. Okay, there are banned cards, but no restricted cards currently at the time you're recording this. So, real quick, that's what bans and restrictions are. Now I'm going to go through the entire list of them, and we're going to kind of talk about it. And I really want to know what you guys think about banned and restricted cards. We're going to go over every single banned and restricted card, and then I'm going to tell you guys if I think the card will ever be unbanned in the future, and maybe talk a little bit about why it was banned. And then you guys tell me in the comments section what you guys think, if a card should be unbanned or not. So first, I'm just going to go down the list. First up is Red Purple Trafalgar Law, the leader. Next up is Enies Lobby, the stage. And then we have Blue Black Sakazuki, the leader. Great Eruption, the event. Reject, the event. And then we have 2 more down here, Moby Dick, the stage, along with Kabaji, the character. This is the only character that I'm aware of that is banned. Actually, excuse me, there were other characters that were banned in the past. I think at one point, I believe... Well, I know 9-cost Whitebeard was restricted, but when they banned the leader, did they also ban the character? I actually can't remember, guys. I don't remember if they actually banned the character. But I know the 4-cost Marco, the 9-cost Newgate, and the 1-cost Radbeam, those were all restricted to a single copy of at one point in the game's history. I don't remember if they were ever banned, but I know the leader was banned for a short while. I think it was at the end of OP0 4.5 or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But those were removed from the ban list because over time the power level kind of caught up with that leader. Guys, it was a 6-life leader with 6,000 power, right? That was insanely powerful, and it took a while for the rest of the game to catch up. And that was back in OP02 when Black first came into the game. And remember, guys, Yellow came in OP03, so there was a lot of balancing that needed to happen. But it looked like by OP05 they really did fix it pretty well. Now, let's go backwards now and talk about bans. As far as this card goes, Kabaji is a 2-cost, 3,000 power, 1k counter character with on play. If you have a Moji in play, the character Moji, draw 2 and trash 1 from your hand. Draw 2, trash 1. The reason, from what I understand, the main reason that this card was banned, because I know some new players might be looking at this like, how is this card banned? I think it had to do with Nami. Essentially, with this effect right here, you're drawing 2 and trashing 1. So you're actually like going up card hand size, right? You're not, well, I guess you're at least breaking even, right? Because you're playing this card out, so you're losing 1 card from hand, and then you're drawing 2 cards, and then trashing 1 of them. So it's like your 2 cards are leaving your hand, but 2 cards are entering your hand, and you're getting a 2-cost 3k that you can also bounce back later and reuse the effect, right? Like, for example, with 5-cost, either with an Overheat or the 5-cost Zeph, and now even with Snake Dance, I believe you can bounce back a character to your hand. I don't know if it has to be a certain kind of character, but it can bounce back characters. So I think they just determined this card was just slightly too strong for how cheap it was. Okay, because being able to draw 2, trash 1 on this small body, think about it, guys. If you're running 4 Kayas and 4 Kabaji, over the course of the game, that is literally draw 16, trash 12, right? So it's like, that is outrageous, because consider how the game works, right? If you're going to draw 5 cards to start the game off, and you have 5 cards in your life as a Nami player, well, there's only 40 cards left in the deck, right? So if you can draw 16 of those, you're pretty much drawing half your deck without a single ounce of engagement. And I know some people might say like, oh, but Nami's not very engaging to go against because they just do all this, that, and the other. They don't really battle. I get where you're coming from, but at the same time, it is an alternate win condition we have to learn to deal with in the game and learn how to play around. So with this card, though, it did require some setup, but the setup being Moji, I don't think it was really that hard for people to, like, you know, basically, let me show you guys just any emoji. I think there was even a vanilla emoji back then. Let me see something. Okay. So here's Moji. Yeah, it was a 1-cost Moji, and this was basically the combo we're looking at right here. Just a 1-cost vanilla card. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, on the turn you needed to, for 3 Dawn, you're basically playing this dude out, and then you're going to play out the Kabaji to draw 2, trash 1, and then you're going to try to bounce these back to your hand later and just keep doing that. Yeah, it just becomes really, really hard to deal with. And again, guys, you can't really deal with this character unless you run removal, and not every deck runs removal. You know, maybe every deck should run some form of removal, but some decks don't have access to very good removal. You know, other than black, right? The color black has like the best removal in the game, but that's kind of, I think, part of that color's characteristics. Okay, so now let's go back to the rules here. Okay, all the way down here at the bottom, not the eroded stuff. Where's the banned and restricted? Here it is. Okay, so back to where we were. I think when it comes to Kabaji, I understand why this card was banned, because I think it would have just been a little bit too much firepower for Nami. I think it would have been a little bit too hard to deal with, because that deck already draws a bunch of cards, right? You're already going to run Sanji's Pilafs, you're already going to run the Kayas, and that's going to cycle you through to these cards. And these cards, unlike the stage, or excuse me, unlike the events, these even had counters on them, right? This Kabaji has it's a 2-cost 3k with a 1k counter. The Moji was just a 1-cost vanilla card with a counter on it. So it just has so much extra versatility in that way. So I do understand where they were coming from with this, but who knows? You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Now, moving up from there, we have Moby Dick. So there are 7 cards that were banned, right? Let me see something. Kabaji, Moby Dick, Reject, Great Eruption, Sakazuki, Enies Lobby, and Trafalgar Law. So 2 out of the 7 cards that are banned are stages. I think that's actually very telling when it comes to design principles, like in the, in the Bandai, boardroom, when it's like, okay, we need to ban cards. It seems like they haven't really decided how strong they want a stage to be. And I understand this stage was really powerful, guys. Okay, 2 cost. It has trigger play the card as well, but it's a 2-cost stage that is on your turn. If you have 1 or less life cards, your Edward Newgate and all your characters with a type, including Whitebeard Pirates, gain plus 2,000 power. Guys, your Edward Newgate, that's your leader, right? That's like your Edward Newgate and all your characters with a type, including Whitebeard Pirates, gain plus 2,000 power. That's... Now, it is only on your turn. Okay, it is only on your turn, but think about that. This card is just giving such a massive amount of power boost. it's just hard to deal with. And it's just a stage. There was no dawn investment unless you did it early on, or if you got it from your trigger, from your life, you know, you could have triggered into play. This card became a real headache for your turn. It made your character so much bigger, and then you still get to play out whatever you needed to from hand for the turn, sit on your counters. It was just, or your events and all that. It was just a little bit out of control. So I don't foresee this card ever being unbanned. I think if it was worded in a way that was like, I'll try to at least like say how I would fix these cards. With Kabaji, I don't know if there is a fix because of the way Nami is. The only fix would be if they made it where Nami specifically cannot play this card. If that is why they banned it, and I think that is why they banned it. I could be wrong. You guys tell me if you think it's for another reason, if I missed it. But for Moby Dick, I think what this card should have been was a 2-cost trigger, play this card's fine, but then have an activate main. If you have 1 or less life cards, give up to one of your characters or leader plus 2,000 power for the turn. Just a single character, that's it. And you have to rest it to do it or whatever, that's fine. Or maybe make it a plus 1,000 power. Maybe that would have been better. But I think if it was just given to one character or one leader for the turn, I think that would have made it very balanced and very, toned down for sure. People might not have used it at all then, but, well, at least it wouldn't be banned at that point. So that's how I would have kind of tried to fix this one. Okay, with Reject, can I zoom in, guys? I don't like where I can't click on the card. We're going to zoom in a little bit. Oh, gosh. Perfect. Okay, here we go. Wait, we're all the way back up at Trafalgar Law. Let's go back down. Okay, hopefully you guys can read this okay. I can't really tell by the small picture over on my right, but I'm going to read it out loud. It's a 4-cost event that is main, choose one. You can either KO a 5 or less of your opponent's characters, or if your opponent has 1 life card, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Then add 1 card from the top of your life cards to your hand. The trigger is draw 1 card. So the issue with this card is it was just a little bit too effective of a execute, because this card is essentially an execute, right? Whereas like, okay, they're down to 1 life. Now I can pay 4 to remove that last life. It does deal damage, so it would actually activate triggers if there was a relevant trigger there. But the problem is this. Against anything but yellow, that's like a total, there's just no way to play around it. I guess unless you had enough blockers or something, I'm not sure. It's like the card was almost balanced, but I think they did it backwards. So there are some yellow cards that basically remove cards from your opponent's life, and I think they're actually pretty decently balanced. Cards like the new 6-cost Robin coming out. But check out what they did with that card. I don't know if I should bring it up or not, but let me just explain this. It's a 6-cost character that says if your opponent has 3 or more life, trash the top card of their life if they have 3 or more. I think Reject was done backwards. I think it should say if your opponent has 3 or more life cards, trash it. Don't even deal 1 damage, just trash it. So that way you could actually start whittling down their health. Or their life cards, whatever you want to say, and then you also have this secondary effect to be able to pop a 5 or less. Then I think it would have been a little more balanced. Some people still might disagree, and that's fine. I'm not saying it had to be that way. I'm saying I think it would have been a little more balanced then, and it probably wouldn't have been banned. And maybe even drop it down to popping a 4 or less. I don't know. Popping a 5 or less in yellow just seems crazy, or at least make it where it KOs a character based on your life and your opponent's life or something like that, or maybe just your opponent's life, something along those lines. But as is, I don't foresee this one getting unbanned, and it makes sense why it was banned to begin with, because of the secondary effect. The popping of 5 or less is no joke either. You can just pop a blocker and just go right around it to go for the win. But that if your opponent has 1 life card, deal 1 damage to them. Well, yeah, there goes their last life. Then now I can swing it with the rest of my board, or swing it whatever way I need to. Load everything up on 1 character or whatever. It just felt a little bit too strong, and I do understand why they banned this one. And this one, I'm not sure why they printed it. Right? I could see where, like, mustache, guys. It's that time of the video. Was like every time, like 20 to 25 minutes into the video, the mustache goes crazy. I see where they messed up with Kabaji, right? Like, I understand how they messed this card up, where it's like, oh shoot, I didn't expect Nami to get printed or something like that. We didn't know it would be, something that leader could abuse, so we had to pull that back. I understand how this could be overlooked, and I also understand how Moby Dick was overlooked. I think it was, they thought, oh, well, if you're at 1 life, then basically this stage only gets like 1 use, right? Because, hey, you're going to be at 1 life, and then that's it. You lose or you win right then. But it's like, no, guys. Newgate can survive and survive and survive at 0 life, 1 or 0 life. It's crazy. Okay, but with Reject, I don't know how this made it past the board, guys. Every now and then a card is printed where I'm like, wait a minute, did you read what the card did? So you saw that if they're at 1 life, it takes their last life away for 4. You know, if they have a blocker, if they have what, it doesn't matter. Like their life's gone at 4. Again, I think it would have been. I think this one would have been an easy fix. Trigger draw 1, that's whatever, right? The trigger draw 1 effect doesn't really matter. But the 4 cost pop a 5 or less was already strong enough. Like that probably could have been a card by itself. But then if they had changed the second part to remove a life card, if your opponent was at 3 or more life, I think that would have bounced him much more. I think that would have been much more appropriate and more in tune with how the game works. Okay, let's keep going. Great Eruption. All right, so if you've been following my channel for long enough, I was completely against them removing this card. I could not understand why. This, for me, was the same idea as like what people were saying. Like, yeah, if they removed Gecko Moria, you know, people were saying that if Gecko Moria was banned, then a lot of decks would have fallen off. Well, you remove Great Eruption, and pretty much every Navy deck just disappears, right? Like Smoker was gone for quite some time. Now it saw some more support. And, of course, whenever more support gets introduced, it fixes a lot, right? But it's like, okay, what about Isho, you know, Smoker, Garp? I felt like this hit so many decks that already weren't doing that well, right? They were already struggling, and then you take this card away from them, and then it really gimped them. I wish they had just... Again, I know they don't like to do erratas when it comes to, like, totally changing the profile of a card, or however you'd say that, but I wish this would have just been at least restricted to Navy, you know, if that were the case. But either way, one thing I will say about this card, like looking back now and the direction they're going, I would be okay. Hot take, guys, hot take. Excuse me. I would be okay if they removed all event cost reduction from the game. So in other words, Great Eruption, Tempest Kick, Ice Age. I know they were trying to see what they could get away with in the game, but I don't know how healthy that is for the long-term health of the game. Again, I'm not saying they should do that. I'm just saying I wouldn't be upset if they did. So seeing this card gone now, it's definitely, again, like I said, when this card first got banned, I did not understand. I thought banning this was enough. Okay, like just ban the Sakazuki and move on. Because people thought like, yeah, but now they're going to combo Great Eruption with Ice Age, right? Or excuse me, with Tempest Kick, because that was coming out right around the corner from when they banned this. In I think it was around OP07. It's like, well, no, now they just have Tempest Kick. Now it's just a 1 cost -3 draw card, right, for the CP decks. And then the trigger is actually better, in my opinion, on the... some people disagree. Like, this trigger can definitely win you a game. Your opponent trashes a card from their hand. But there's also, you know, the trigger for Tempest Kick is pop a 3 or less, right? So I think that one was actually a little bit better. I just think Tempest Kick is a better card all around, but that's just me. But anyway, I understand why they banned the card. I just don't agree with it. If that's the case, let me say that, or let me say this. If the case is that this card was too strong as a 1 cost -2 draw card, then how do we solve Ice Age? How do we solve Tempest Kick? And I understand what people are going to say. People think they know everything, guys. I know. It's like, oh, it's because those cards don't do this, or, you know, Ice Age doesn't draw a card, so it doesn't cycle. It's like, yeah, but it hits a 5 or less, right? It gives -5. And then it's like, oh, but, you know, Tempest Kick requires 10 cards to be in the trash, or you don't get the minus effect. I get it. I totally understand, guys. But in the end, I actually think what would be healthiest for this game is if they removed all event-based cost reduction and forced you to have it like in a very powerful character, like the 8 cost Isho, or like the 10 cost Kuzan or something, or on the leader, or on a stage. We're going to talk about the stage in a minute. But having it in event form seems a little too strong to me personally, but that's just me. I understand they want to combo cards. I know how design works. Don't get caught up on this take, guys. I'm just kind of talking right now, just kind of venting about it. Because, like I said, I understand why this card was banned, and I understand why the others weren't. I understand why they didn't ban Tempest Kick. I understand why they didn't ban Ice Age, but that doesn't mean I have to agree with it, right? It's just me. And, hey, I don't care either way. I have all the cards, you know, that I need to play whatever. It's nothing about that. It's just, like I said, when it comes to this card, I love this card. I thought the card was great. I was a huge fan of Great Eruption. Then they banned it, even while banning the one deck that was really, really abusing it. And now we've moved on. We're going to come back to Sakazuki. But, guys, then they end up banning Eni's Lobby as well. So they're banning these cards that have these really small cost reductions, but they're keeping the ones that have the big cost reduction in Ice Age and Tempest Kick. I don't know if that's the best idea, but who knows? You know, that's up to Bandai. That's not up to us. But anyway, so now let's go back down to blue-black Sakazuki. Do I think this card will ever be unbanned? I don't think so. I don't think so because I think they're starting to like lean away from the idea of printing cost reduction in events. Maybe not. We'll have to see. I'm not sure. But I think they should, ultimately, even if they don't. So we'll have to see. You guys tell me what y'all think about that, but let's please keep it PG. You know, let's please keep it respectful in the comment section. Everyone has their own opinions. Let's just, you know, and don't be afraid to say them, guys. Let's just do it in a very, in a respectful way. Okay, now we're up to Sakazuki. I do not foresee this leader being unbanned because of one very, very specific reason, and it has everything to do with what I just said. Cost reduction. Cost reduction is able to push certain cards over the edge, over the limit, like when it comes to removal. And this is a new phenomenon for me. I come from games where there is no cost reduction, right? Like, for example, in Magic, there is no mana value reduction, right? Or converted mana cost or mana value, I think it's called now. There is no mana value reduction that I'm aware of. You guys tell me if y'all know of that. In fact, in that game, there's just literally cards that just say remove a character, right? Just KO. Like, for example, there's one card called Unmake that I used to play way back in Eventide, Shadowmoor Eventide, good times. It was called Unmake. It was a 3-cost exile target creature. I think it was exile target creature for 3 cost. So in other words, for 3 Dawn in this game, just whatever character's on the board, basically just bottom deck it. It's not the same. It'd be like remove the character from play, but let's just consider it bottom decking because they couldn't get around it with any type of like indestructible effect or regeneration type of effect. So in that game, for 3, I can just get any character off the board that I need, which I love that. And the same thing with Doomblade. Doomblade and Terror was a 2-cost. In that game, it was a sorcery, right? Actually, excuse me, those were instants. I think those were instants, and it was for 2. And you could just KO, like the equivalent is like KO in this game, any character that was not, in that game, it was a black card, and it could not KO black characters. It might have been black and artifact creatures. But anyway, whatever the case is. That game was very different, I understand. But in One Piece, it looks like they really like the idea of comboing like power reduction with KO based on power, or cost reduction with KO based on cost. I don't know how much I like it. We'll see if it plays out over the course of the game. It might have just been a failed experiment. You guys tell me what y'all think about cost reduction. I'm okay with it as a concept when it's relegated to something like this leader, where it's literally just, okay, when he attacks, -1 cost. I think that's pretty safe. I think that's pretty harmless. But when you have a card like Ice Age that can just go -5, it's like, whoa, okay, now that's a little much, right? Like, I felt like that should have been something different. That's just me personally. Tempest Kick and Great Eruption, I actually think those are kind of fine because they can only go an extra -2 or an extra -3. But Ice Age, that extra -5 goes a long way when it comes to removing the big characters. But if you think about it, like, okay, if I can give -1 to a character, let's just say we have a Lucci or even a Kaku. Like, let's just say Kaku, right? If I combine my leader attack, so -1, now I can hit a 4 or less. And if I combine that with a stage, you can hit a 6 or less. And then if I combine that with a Great Eruption or a Tempest Kick, he can hit an 8 or a 9 or less. That was quite a bit, right? That was already strong enough. But if you just do a -5, well, all of a sudden I can just, you know, stage and leader. I don't know. It's just, it becomes a headache. I don't want to you know, think about that for too long, guys. It's a very polarizing topic. Let me just say this back to what we were saying with Sakazuki. I don't foresee this leader being unbanned, unfortunately. I wish, because this was one of my favorite leaders. Blue and black. I'm a control player at heart, for those who are not aware, and I absolutely loved running this leader. I had a lot of fun playing this leader. So seeing him get banned, I was very sad about that. I wish they could have found a way to just like ban Great Eruption and Ice Age or something, and just let us have the leader back. You know what I mean? I think that would have been more appropriate if they would have just banned Ice Age, banned Great Eruption, and just let us have Sakazuki back. So at least the people who want to play Blue Black Navy would have like the perfect leader for that. One more thing that Bandai did mess up on before we move on. This should have been Kuzan, man. I feel like this should have been, instead of being Sakazuki, guys, Blue Black. That's got to be Kuzan. They dropped the ball there because they could have made. This might be corny to some people, but I feel like they should have made Blue Black, Kuzan, Yellow Black Borsellino, and then they could have made Red Black. Our guy, you know, our good guy here is Sakazuki, the gentleman. Sakazuki. He could have been Red Black. And I'm not talking about what Garp is, like a brand new red-black leader. And then green-black, I feel like that should have been that new guy, Green Bull or whatever. And then they could have made purple-black Isho. I don't know. Maybe that was too corny for them, but I thought it would have been really cool. So that way you have, like, you know, black being the main color for Navy. They could have split around all the different colors in that way. I think it could have been really cool. Okay, that was just a quick little side bonus content there. All right, we've got 2 more to go over, guys, before we move on to the games of the day. Innie's Lobby, excuse me, voice crack there. Innie's Lobby. This is another one. I don't know if Bandai realizes what they want for stage value just yet, because 2 out of 7 cards that are banned are stages. And remember, guys, there are not many stages in the game. There are very, very few stages in the game. In fact, we're just going to look right now. I'm going to type in stage. Okay, this is how many stages are in the entire game. Okay, so let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 24, and then plus 8. 32. So there's 32 stages in the entire game right now. And if you guys might be thinking like, well, how many leaders are there? Because, you know, that would be the next closest thing that doesn't have many. Let me just show you guys real quick. This is how many leaders are in the game compared to stages. It is a huge difference. Don't worry, guys. I'm not going to count every one of these. But there is a massive difference. There's way more leaders in the game than there are stages. There's way more everything in the game than there are stages. Like even events, there's way more events than there are stages. So the fact that Bandai has already banned 2 stages that seem not super powerful at first glance, right? Like if you're a newer player and you looked at this card and you're just reading it intently, you're like, wait, how is this card banned, right? And the same thing. Now, this one might be a little more obvious with Moby Dick, but you look at these cards, it's like these are not really that crazy. And I will say this: Moby Dick, I do think is a little crazier than Innie's Lobby, given how the game flow works. But you know, again, you might be like, well, how's this card banned? And what it comes down to is the amount of value you're able to get from it over the course of the game. I think what Bandai is very happy with so far when it comes to stages are the searcher stages. So for example, like you know, Germa 66 has the stage. I think it's called Germa Kingdom. I can't remember what it's called. It's a 1-cost stage, and you tap the stage, you trash a card from your hand, and you do a top 3 search. I think they like that. I think that's something they really like, and they think that's balanced, and that's where they want the power level for it to be. But other than that, guys, I mean, just going back to the stages we've seen, I'm not going to go over right now, but like with this being too powerful, I think that does kind of say something about cost reduction. Like, look at the cards on here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. So 3 of the cards out of 7 on the ban list have to do with cost reduction. Again, you have to take a look at, you have to really consider these patterns. Okay, these aren't. It's not random, right? I mean, they're clearly here for a reason. And if 3, think of it like this: 2 out of the 7 cards that are banned are stages, which is very interesting. Like, it's very peculiar. Like, wait a minute, and they don't seem overly broken when you first look at them. It comes down to the in-game application. And then 3 out of the 7 cards that are banned have to do with cost reduction. So that's very interesting to me. I think that's something that Bandai, hopefully they're very, you know, I hope they're aware of it, and I hope they're trying to work around that and make sure the game stays balanced in the future. I'm not going to talk too much about Innie's Lobby. I do not foresee this card being unbanned, even though literally only 1 leader can run it right now. Well, excuse me, you know, both the Lucci leaders can run it right now, and I think that's it. But you see what they're doing there. Even though this is locked to a singular leader, the problem is this became an issue for them for their design space going forward. It's like, wait a minute, so every single CP leader we print going forward that has black in it, they're going to get a free -2 off the top of every single removal that they use if they have the stage in play. And they don't like that. Clearly, Bandai does not like that. I think they liked when it was just -1, because we've seen that. They kept the -1 model. Lucci gives a -1, Perona still gives -1, Isho gives -1 across the board. So I don't think they're scared of the -1 part. And because of that, you know, I will say this. I would not be surprised if this leader gets unbanned at some point in the future. I would not be surprised. I'm not saying it will. I have no idea, guys. But I would not be surprised if a card like this got unbanned in the future, or at least modified, errated, where you just get to choose one of these effects per turn. Do you want to draw 1, trash 1, or trash 1, draw 1, I should say? Or do you want to give -1 to a character for the turn? Just take the when attacking effect off and just let it be -1 for the turn. Actually, they could keep the -1 effect on, so that way you can't combo it as easily with something like a Hound Blaze. Anyway, that's way too advanced, too technical to talk about right now. So let me summarize Innie's lobby, because I do want to spend quite some time talking about Red Purple Law. I don't foresee them unbanning this card. Just like I don't really foresee them unbanning Great Eruption. That's just me. We'll have to see what happens going forward. And again, if I were to try to fix these cards, like I said, I said how I'd fix Sakazuki, right? Just make it choose one of these. You don't get both. Make it like Perona. Choose one per turn, and let's get this leader back into our hands, right? I'd love to start playing with this leader again. But then for Great Eruption, the answer, in my opinion, is to get rid of events that have cost reduction built in. And maybe stages are too powerful to have cost reduction built in as well. Maybe it is something that needs to be relegated. I think that's the right word for it. Like specifically on leaders alone, or very powerful characters like Kuzan or Isho, the 8 cost and 10 cost. Okay, last but not least, we got the red-purple Trafalgar Law leader here. Now, this one's a mess. I have to say, I know a lot of people absolutely love this leader, and I get it, guys. This leader was cracked from day one, to be honest, guys. I think a lot of people had this figured out. I was hoping that red-purple Eustace Kid would be the best from the red-purple ST10 set, with the 3 captains, but it ended up being like one of the weaker ones. Who knows? It's getting a little bit of support in OP09. It might get more support in the future. But as far as Trafalgar Law goes, I think pretty much everyone knew that this one was going to be absolutely cracked. Because in the leader effect alone, first of all, look at all that text. Okay, that is a lot to read for the leader effect. So it's almost like a universal law. The more words there are in the leader's effect, the easier it is to break the effect, right? I mean, not literally, but it's like there's a reason they had to put all that wording in there, and it was to try to make sure that the effect couldn't be abused too much, but it's like, no, too late, we're going to do that anyway. So when it comes to this leader in particular, guys, ultimately what it has the potential for doing is bottom decking one of your opponent's cards and cheating out one of your cards. So it is just 2-for-1ing your opponent pretty much every single time, right? And that's the other crazy part. Like, that tempo is just outrageous, and it's on the leader effect. It's one thing if it was on a character that did something like this, because guess what? Once you play out the character, okay, the effect is done. I don't have to worry about it. It was a very powerful effect, but I no longer have to worry about it because the effect's been done, and we can move on. But it's on the leader. So every single turn, this was going to do its effect. And here's the thing. The balance was supposed to be in the Dawn -3 effect. The balance was supposed to be like, okay, if they use this, they probably won't be able to use this but like once, maybe twice a game, right? No. Instead, this is where it became an issue. Every single purple card going forward that mitigated Dawn returns was going to be able to be abused by this leader, unless they locked it. Every single red card going forward that could reduce power was going to be able to be abused by this character. And then every single 4-cost or lower character in red and purple was going to be able to be abused by this leader. And that's where it's like, a lot of people loved this leader. I did too, by the way. I really enjoyed playing this leader. I had a lot of fun with this leader. But hey, maybe too much fun, right? I guess that's why he got banned. He was just a tad bit too strong. And that's what I think ended up happening, where it's like, okay, we can't have this guy going off like this. It's just a little too insane. It's just a little too crazy. And I don't foresee this leader ever being unbanned. The way that I would have fixed this, personally, is I would have done an activate main, Dawn -3, pick one, okay? Either bottom deck one of your opponent's characters that has 3,000 power or less, or play out one of your characters that costs 4 or less. And I probably would have even gone a little more restrictive. I would have made it where it had to be a Heart Pirates, or Straw Hat character. Specifically not Kid Pirates, even though it came in that same package. Specifically not Kid Pirates, because then they'd be able to cheat out the Kid and Killer, and that was a massive, massive part of the combo. They'd still be able to cheat out something like a Zoro, with the example that I said, because he's Straw Hats. But being able to cheat out that 4-cost, being able to cheat out the 4-cost Kid and Killer was insane. But again, that's just me. And I think that also would have played in perfectly with the new 1-cost purple Trafalgar Law Searcher coming out that can search up a card that costs 2 or more and is Heart Pirates or Straw Hat. So this could have ended up becoming like a Trafalgar Law, Heart Pirates, Straw Hat Crew hybrid deck, which would have been really cool. All right, guys, that's it. Let's move on from here. I've been talking about this for too long. You guys tell me what y'all think. Let's please keep it civil. I know some of the things I said I might take a little bit of heat for, but, you know, as long as it's done in a calm manner and in a very civil manner, I don't mind, guys. I've got thick skin. That just comes to being a teacher for all this time, and even just being a content creator now. You're not going to be able to please everybody. Some people just don't like you for who you are. It is what it is. It's fine with me. Okay, now let's go ahead and hop over to some games on the sim. Okay, let me go full screen here. Let's remove this and move the camera over, and here we go, guys. So first game up here, we have a game of Sanji versus Belo Betty. Okay, volume is off, speed is on 2x, and let's do this, guys. Here we go. We're good to go. Okay, so Sanji, I am running the film Straw Hat version. And that's because there's a little bit of spillover. Like that 4-cost, that's a promo Luffy in my hand there. The 4-cost Luffy. It's a 4-cost 6K, 1K counter vanilla. But it is film and Straw Hat searchable. So I do like that. And it's a great 4-drop. You're about to see it in action. Give it Rush. That's a 4-cost 6K, 1K counter with Rush in this deck. Okay, they take it. They took the 5K and the 6K hit, guys. Being greedy just rarely pays off, guys. Sometimes it does, you know. Sometimes it does pay off. But, okay, right here, I'm going to trick my opponent here. I'm going to give him a 1K and a 1K. I want him to overcommit into me because look at my hand, guys. My hand's actually stacked. I got 2K and double 3Ks. Okay, so I gave him a 1K, 1K. I want him to overextend on this next turn so I can try to go for lethal on the following turn. That's not always recommended. You could just do a 2K counter there. But at the same time, I did have something in mind. Okay, so right here, I'm just going to set up a little bit. We'll do a top search. I'm going to be like, okay, let's go ahead and grab, I think I grabbed the small Luffy. Or maybe I grabbed the 4-cost? The 4-cost Luffy, excuse me. The 2-cost Luffy is actually very good in this deck as well, by the way. So we're going to swing for 6. They're going to give me a 2K. We're going to swing for 6. Probably going to give me another 2K. And then we'll swing for 6 more. Give him Rush. Swinging for 6. Takes it. No trigger. We're good. Okay. Whew. No trigger. We're fine. Okay, they're going to play out Imperial Ivankov. They're going to buff it with the leader effects, cheating out Karasu. They're going 7 into 3. Feels bad. 6 into 3. I think I end up taking this one, and now they're going to go 7 into 3, and I can give them a 2K to get out of this one, I think. Actually, I just take it. I mean, I could have, but no, we'll just take it. So right here, guys, I'm like, you know what? I have a lot of counter power in hand. So we're going to, I'm not even going to actually... What am I talking about? I'm just going to go for it, right? I don't even care that I have all this counter power in hand. We're just going all in. Swing in for 7. Okay, well, Karasu seems good. But if that last 7 went through, watch this, guys. Let's see if another 7 goes through. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Pause. They're going to let that go. What card do you think I'm going to play for my hand here, guys? For all the Sanji players out there, all the red PRB01 Sanji players out there, which card do you think I'm going to play for my hand here? That's right, guys, the 2-cost card. The smallest card, we'll play that out. We'll use the effect. We'll give him Rush, attach to Dawn, and we'll swing for 9. That was a 2-cost, it's really a 4-cost swing for 9. Really powerful effect there with the 2-cost Sanji as long as you have life to take. Now, hear me out. If they had countered out of my very first attack there, I would have gone into their board, and I would have played out a blocker, and I would have sat on all of that counter power. All of that counter power. But since they took the first hit the way they did, let me see something. Actually, no, did they counter out of the first hit? I might just be crazy, guys. Maybe it was just totally gutsy play. Hang on one second. Okay, so here's the beginning of that turn. Yep, so it's going to be attach 1, swing 7. Yeah, they were at 1 life. Never mind. What am I talking about, guys? I was trying to make that sound like there was a way more technical play. It's like, no, dude. I'm going to swing for 7 here, and even if he counters out of that, I'm still just going to swing for 7 with this guy and swing for 9 with my Sanji. So I don't know why I even mentioned all the counter power, but I guess if they, maybe, here we go. If they countered out of 2 attacks in a row, then I would have popped the other Karasu, then I could have put out the Shiraya or the Tony Chopper, and I could have sat on all that counter power in 1 life. So that's probably the way I should have said that. But either way, really good game. That was a fun one. Guys, Sanji is lightning fast, guys. That swinging in for 9K, how appropriate with that smaller Sanji. And notice he only had 7. He can only get to a 7K attack. That's why he couldn't get out of the others. Really good game. Okay, so that first game there was against Belo Betty. And now the next one, we have a mirror match. Okay. We have a mirror match. And I think these guys are running, I think the deck that they're playing was like, this is a Revo Army version my opponent is playing. Check this out, guys. This is pretty interesting. I really want to know what you guys think about this one. So 2 Dawn play here. We have nothing we're going to do here. Just waiting for my opponent to just, they didn't accept their turn. Yeah, I guess they were like AFK. We take the hit. That was a little bit greedy. Actually, no, it was an AK attack. Never mind. We take that hit. We're going to play this guy out. We're going to swing for 7. And their turn. They took a 5k hit. Then they take a 7k hit. Swing for 5. We're not going to get too greedy here. We're going to give them a 1k counter. They play out Imperial Ivankov. Give the Lindbergh Rush. Seems good, but we're just going to take that. And now I can actually... So I'm not scared to go into the board. Don't be scared to go into the board with this deck, guys. I don't think it's that big of a deal. So we swing in for 5, get a card out of hand. We're going to swing in for 6 with Bear King. And now this character cannot be KO'd as long as that Imperial Ivankov is on the board. At least not in battle. At least not in battle. They play out Walpole. I do run Walpole in this deck, guys. It's like the only character I run that's not like part of the main theme I'm running. So we do get a trigger there. We grab a 2k counter from it. 5 into 4. Absolutely not. We're not going to give him that. Swing 6 into 4. We'll give him a 0 cost 3k. Trashing one of the Shirai's in our hand. And now we actually have an idea here where we can actually try to go for game. So we're going to swing for 7. They give me a 2k, 1k. We're going to swing for 7. They're going to take it. We're going to swing for 7. They're going to take it. And now I play out Shiraya here and leave 1 Dawn active, threatening a Rad Beam. Spoiler warning, guys. I don't think I'm even running Rad Beam in this list. We'll look in a minute. Okay, so they're gonna swing in there to get rid of the Zoro. So I've got a few options here. I'm actually going to block here. Now watch this. They're going to swing for 8 into it. I'm going to 2k, 2k, 1k. I'm forcing their hand right now because I know I can get out of this 5k. Okay, 1k, 1k. Because whatever I draw next turn, I'm just going to give it rush and we're going in. Now watch this. They're so scared of it, they end up swinging into it to get rid of it. Which was the right call, I think. But doesn't matter. I think every card in this deck, other than a Searcher, I can literally give it rush. But the Searchers can grab cards that don't have on play. So here we go. We're going to swing for 8. See what they give me. And we win. So they actually only had 1k encounter. Okay, so they actually only had 1k encounter. So I was swinging for 8. So that way, he basically, how do I say this? He had to give me a 2k, 2k to get out of this. So that way when I swing with Bear King, he could use the Shiraya to block the Bear King for free if I swing for 7, right? Then I can just go in with the Sanji and smash for everything that's left. Just go super hard with the Sanji. At least that was my idea. Ended up working out. Who knows if there was a better idea? That's fine. Okay, next up we got a game versus Red Purple Luffy. These games are fast, guys. If you like fast games, hey, this is... These are fast games, man. Sanji, really aggro, really aggressive. So Red Purple Luffy here is actually annoying because he has 6,000 power, so we do have to, you know, compensate our attacks every turn. And here we go. I think I'm just going to load up. So hear me out. I could have played out the 2-cost Luffy and tried to fix my hand, but I'd rather try to get him down lower. I'd rather make him use cards from hand here or get him down lower. Okay, so here we go. Got to do a little bit of math here. We'll swing for 6, and then we'll swing for 7. Very good. He gives me a 2k counter for a 6k attack. We're swinging for 7. He doesn't have another 2k counter, and that's that. Now, this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets interesting. Okay, I think they're going to swing like 7 into my 6 here. I think they're going to, yeah, or excuse me, 6 into 6. No way we're giving him that, dude. No way. Because if we let him go, we'll have to counter out of a 9 to our face. So it's like, no, we'll counter out of the 1, let him have the Zoro, and here we go. So at this point, it's like, you know what? I might as well swing into the Zoro, just in case. We'll just get it off the board. But we didn't have to. We could have also just tried to swing at... actually, excuse me. We needed all 7 Dawn for this Wapol play right here. So yeah. Okay, give him rush. Swinging for 7. Minus 2,000 to that character. We're coming in for 9. They had 1 Dawn up like they had a Rad Beam, and they did not use it, guys. Or a Gum Gum Giant. Because this is an OP09. Okay, I'm saving this card. And here we go, guys. Play of the game right here. Attach 9. Swing for 17 into 8. Okay, Gum Gum Giant, that's going to put him up to 12. He's got a 2K, 2K, 1K. He just didn't have enough. And, I mean, guys, 17 is a crazy attack. Okay, so to try to get out of that, he actually almost got there, right? He was very close. Let me see how close he got. Okay, 15. He got to 17. That's impressive. I understand he's a 16K or 6K leader, and he was up to 8K, but still getting to 17. That means he had 9,000 counter power in hand. That was a close one. That was actually a very close one. But it was kind of a situation where it's like, you know what? I don't want this game. Like, look what would have happened, guys. If this game had gone on any longer, he had another Gum Gum Giant in hand. He had rushers. He had ways to increase his power, and he was going to eat up my board anyway. So it was a lot. You know, it would have been a tough one. But even if I hadn't won right there, if he swings in to my Walpole, I'm going to save it, right? Like, that Walpole is an 8,000 power character, so I'm literally going to save it with like a 2k, 1k if he swings for 10 with Newgate. And then if he plays out the other Newgate to try to swing for 8 plus 1, no, he has to leave 1 Dawn active for Gum Gum Giant. So he would have to swing like 8 into 8. Yeah, I'm getting out of that too. So he was in a really tough situation. That was a really, really tough situation. Okay, next game, we got a game versus Doffy. I know some people are like, where's all the meta matchups? People get so mad when I don't have all the meta matchups on here. It's like, guys, sometimes I just play to have fun, just like everybody else does. I just turn into a video when I can, you know, or I just turn into a video. Okay, playing out Nami here. We're going to grab that 4-cost 6K Rusher. Yeah, that's a 4-cost 6K Rush card in my deck, guys. I absolutely love that card in here. Okay, there's Monkey D. Luffy, the 2K counter. That's a promo. Those are 2 promos in my hand. In fact, the 4-cost and 3-cost Luffy, those are both promos. So if you don't have those and you're trying to play Sanji, I'd probably snag those when you can. Okay, they play out Buggy and they play out Trafalgar Law. So immediately I'm like, wait, what? Trafalgar Law, huh? They're down to 4 cards in hand, so we're going to smack in for 4 here and see what they want to do. They take it, so I'm like, you know what? I could play out Shiraya, but I think we're just going to get our full value from Nami, and if they want to swing into the Nami, be my guest. So we got full value from the Nami. That Nami said, we draw a card, you lose a character, your turn. They play out another Trafalgar Law here. They're going to swing for 7. They cheat out the 4-cost 5K, 2K counter Mihawk, and we're on a 5-Dawn turn now. So here we go. We're going to swing 6 into 5. They're going to use a blocker. We're going to swing... so I could have played out the other Luffy. I could have swung 7 into 5, but I'd rather have the larger body on the board. So we're going to swing 6 into 5 here. They'll probably give me a 1K, or okay, I was going to say 1K, 1K, or more than likely a 2K. They gave me double 1K. We'll take it. And here we go, guys. Let's see what they do. Going for my board is probably their best bet, but can they pull it off? That's a 6,000 power body on the board, guys. Yeah, 8 into 6, and they whiff the search. They whiff the search as well, or the top, you know, the reveal from the leader. Playing Logtown, that's odd, guys. Like I said, they're playing the 1-cost Law. They're playing Bartholomew Kuma. They're playing Logtown. Hey, I love seeing the variety. Very interesting looking deck they're running here, but I don't know if that's the best call to run. Then they're going to swing 6 into 6. No way. I've countered out this aggressively so far. If I didn't counter out here, it would actually be surprising to me. Okay, so we go up there. They had 1 Dawn left. They probably should have swung for 7 into 6, but I would have given them a 2K counter. It didn't matter either way. Okay, here we go. We'll go 6 into 5. It's like, hey, how bad do you want that guy? How bad do you want that character? Not too bad. Seems good to me. Swing 6. Play out Mushuru. I think it's Mushura. We play him out. We swing in for 8, and now we're hitting pretty hard now, right? He is a film 6-cost 8K that we can search up with our 2-cost Luffy. 10 into 8, guys. I'm not letting these cards go. I'm about to give him a double 2K if I have to. Like, I'm keeping this card, and then I also want to play out the Monkey D. Luffy. Actually, what I should have done here was I should have kept the Sanji. I should have 2K and 1K'd with the 4-cost Luffy and the other 2K counter Luffy, and then I could have played out the Sanji here and taken one of my own life cards to draw more cards. That would have probably been a little bit better play. But here we go. We're getting aggressive. This game is getting pretty close to over, guys. We're getting super aggressive here. So they counter out from that, but now it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, we'll go 8 into 6 here. We'll see how much you want this card. That's going to cost a 2K, 1K, or 1K, 1K, 1K. Let's see what they have. Okay. Yeah, they're thinking hard about it. They're going to give me 3 1Ks. They accidentally give me 4 1Ks. That was a misclick, but I don't think it matters here, guys, because I'm just going to go everything else into this BOA. Okay. Yep. Actually, I go 7 inch. I'm like, you know what? With all those 1Ks, let's just... I dare you. I dare you to counter out whatever 2 cards you have left in hand. So we play out this guy. We're going to give him Rush, and then we'll swing in for 8 into 6 and drop him down to 1 life. And now they're just in trouble. Like, even if they can get rid of one of my characters, even if they can Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, how are you going to survive? Right? How are you going to get out of this? Okay. Because remember, guys, Sanji can give any character Rush that does not have an on-play effect that costs less than 8. that costs 8 or less. So it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if he gets rid of my whole board right here. He'd have to get rid of my whole board while establishing a blocker. This is his only chance. So 9 into 8. He's finally going to get one of my guys. Okay, he's doing a top 5 search right now, or a top 5 set with his Doflamingo. Got to sit back up in my seat. We got one more game after this one. 3 Dawn left. What could it possibly be? I have no idea. So it's going to be swing 7. Yeah, whoops. Okay, so they left a little bit early. They could have played out the Doffy. It just didn't matter because it was going to be swing 7, swing 7, swing 7, and then everything else on like this Sanji I just drew or the Shura. It didn't matter. So really good game. That was a fun one. All right, we got one more game. These were fast games. That was 5 games already, guys. These are fast games with Sanji. Okay. Excuse me. We got speed on 2x, volumes off. Here we go. Now, let's talk about this while it's going out, guys. I do think the Straw Hat film version has been very, very consistent. There are times you're going to whiff your search. It does happen because you're running 2 different searchers, 2 different type searchers. But at the same time, it feels pretty good having these searchers because you fill up the board while drawing cards you need. So swing for 5, swing for 7. This guy's down to 3. He countered out properly on the first attack. He's going to use Gum Gum Lightning to pop a 6,000 power character. Seems good. I don't see that card used very often, but who knows? It might get used more often soon. They're going to play out the Zoro, fixing their Dawn a little bit, getting to swing for 7. No trigger. I don't run a lot of triggers in this deck. I think I only run the 2-cost Luffy. Excuse me. The Searcher. We play out Mashuru. That's his name, Mashuru. And so we swung for 5, swung for 8. He blocked. He countered out of 1. He takes the 8K hit. He's swinging 5 into me. I'm like, all right, dude. I am gonna try and not be too greedy here with the attacks that I take. And I run quite a few blockers in this deck. I run quite a few. Like I run the Shura. I run the Chopper because I think the blockers are actually just really good in here. You know, I think they're just really solid. Because remember, guys, in this deck, you could turn a blocker into a rusher just as quickly. So we swing 8 into 5. He lets it go. Very wise. We swing 6 into 5. Let's see if we can get some cards out of hand. Okay, he gives me a 1K, huh? All right, well, if that's the case, we'll go ahead and play out the Chopper here. And I think what we might just... actually, I think I might change from the Chopper over to the Zoro. Yeah, or even the Luffy. Okay, we'll give him rush and swing for 6. So real quick, I do like the Zoro better there because, number 1, Luffy's a 1K counter, and number 2, Zoro would swing for 7, and he'd still be a 6K on my opponent's turn. So I think that was a slight play mistake. But that's okay. He's still... We have the element of surprise here. Okay, so he's got the Frankie here. He does not want to trash the card in his hand. That means it's a what's it called? Gum Gum Giant. So he did not use the Frankie's effect because he only has 1 card in hand. And he doesn't want to trash it. So it's a Gum Gum Giant for sure, right? Okay, so what I do here is I'm like, well, you know what? Okay, we'll swing 5 into 5. Yep, that's going to go. And now I think I swing for 8. Or 7. He takes it. Now we'll swing for 8. Now he has a card to trash. I guess I should have done that the other way around. I don't think it really matters in the end. We'll swing for 8 because I knew there was a Gum Gum Giant coming. At least that's what he was telegraphing. Who knows if he was trying to bluff or something. You know, I wouldn't have known. So then we're going to swing for 7. Or, excuse me, swing for 5 with the Luffy. That's a 2K counter out of hand. Now we have this guy right here. We'll give him rush. We'll swing in for 7. He blocks it. He probably thinks he's going to win on the crackback, but I'm playing out a blocker now. And I have 2K, 4K, 6, 7K in hand, guys. I have 7,000 power in hand. Or hang on. Well, I'm using it now. So I take the big hit, of course. I draw and get another 1K counter. Plays out the Luffy. Plays out the Luffy, guys. Very annoying. They get 2 Dawn back immediately, then a 3rd one back from the effect. They're going to swing for 6. I need to counter out of this one aggressively, like I need to, or I could be in trouble if he gets removal. Okay, 5 Dawn left. And he gets removal. Okay, so I just need to counter out of this, and I've won, right? So that was his last chance, was to hope that I have no counter. But, guys, I run a lot of counter in my Sanji deck. Because normally I want to survive on the board, right? Normally I want to counter out to protect my board. But if I need to use it for life, of course I will. Okay, GG, that was a lot of fun there. Let's go ahead and hop over to the deck list. Hang on one second, guys. We got to get all this crazy stuff when we were looking at the leaders. Let's take that off. We'll bring up the red cards. I already had them loaded in from earlier. And this is the list that I'm running that I recommend. I think Walpole's very good. This card's very strong. It's one of the few cards I'm running in the deck that are not Film or Straw Hat Crew. In fact, I think it's the only card I'm running that's not Film or Straw Hat Crew. Like, everything else either is Film or Straw Hat Crew. Now, this guy, Mashuru, he is Drum Kingdom, but he's also film, and that's, I can just search him up very easily with my my Luffy here, the 2-cost Luffy. This is a 2-cost 3,000 power 1K counter Luffy. It's one of the few on-play effects I have in the deck, but it's a top 3 search for a film card, and the trigger can do the same thing. And then I run Nami, and Nami can search up most of the deck. So I don't know the exact numbers. Let's see. So it's like 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 34. So 34 cards in the deck are Straw Hat, and the other 16 are, so 34 are Straw Hat. That means 16 minus 2, 14 are film, and then 2 are Wapole. So that's about it. That's the only real, that's just how I run it. So I will say, like, this card's definitely not, like, insane, but it can search up 2K counters like Saga. It can search up an extremely relevant blocker in Shiraya, and this super annoying card, Bear King, and a decent, 6-cost AK vanilla body. So that's it, guys. That's the list I'm running that I recommend for Sanji. 4 choppers, 4 Sanji, 4 Nami, 4 of the 2-cost Luffy that can activate main, attach 2 Rested Dawn to him, 4 Saga, 4 Shiraya, 3 Bear King, 4 of the Searcher Luffy, 3 Mashuru, 2 Wapole, 4 of the 2K counter Supernova promo Luffy, 4 of the promo film / Straw Hat Crew Luffy. So, excuse me, this is one more card I can search up with the film. Actually, hang on. Yeah, this guy can even search up Luffy's, guys. I had to look at that real quick. So look at the top 3 cards of your deck and reveal up to 1 film-type card and add it to your hand. So he can even search himself up, or he can search up this Luffy as well. And then 4 Zoros, and then 2 of the 0-cost 3K counter Straw Hat Crew 0-cost 3K Bad Manners Kit Course event. And that's it, guys. One card that I will absolutely consider running, I just haven't added it to the list, is probably Rad Beam. I think Radical Beam can definitely find a place in here, even going down something like maybe down -1 Drum King, or excuse me, Bear King. I don't know. See, that's where it gets hard. I mean, I could technically go out the Bad Manners Kit Courses, but this card's really good at fixing cards in hand like the Zoro. But the more I'm looking at this, guys, I only have 1 card in this entire deck that's not a counter. It's literally this Zoro. So maybe I don't need the Bad Manners Kit Course. Maybe this should just be Rad Beam. So looking at it right here at reassessing the deck here, I think I should just completely just drop Bad Manners Kit Course and go up double Rad Beam. Yeah, I think that would just be a direct improvement on the list. But yeah, that's about it, guys. There's not much more to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. I want to know what you guys think about the deck. I think there are some... one more thing I want to say. I'm glad I didn't end it just yet. I would also consider adding the 5-cost Luffy that can just get around blockers, or at least adding Diable Jambe if you don't want to run that card. Like, where is Diable Jambe? Here it is. This card right here, it allows you to get through blockers. And remember, guys, select up to 1 of your Straw Hat type leader or character cards. So you can even, your leader is always going to be Straw Hat Crew, right? That's never going to change. So you'd be able to do that right away. Okay. Well, that's it, guys. I'm done. I'm done yapping. I would definitely consider adding the Diable Jambe or the 5-cost Rush Luffy that can go through blockers. That's the last thing I'll say on it. Okay, big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, guys, for all the VV Pirates Playmat supporters. I hope you guys are enjoying your playmat. Guys, if you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, whatever you're doing, it helps the channel out, and I really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. And then last but not least, I had to add a new name to the VV Pirates patron page here. Thank you guys so much to everybody who supports the channel in this way, just donating, trying to help me out. I really appreciate it. And, just I can't help but say it every single time, guys. You're helping keep the dream alive. I really do appreciate it. All right, I'm done, guys. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. If you have any comments or questions, do not hesitate to ask in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, peace.